Quantum bombs. Yes.
Oh, yeah, everybody. Number 12. Episode number 12. It's May 24th, and happening right now, Ron DeSantis is announcing that he's running for the Republican seat for presidency on Twitter Space with Elon Musk. But we're here in the gun room doing a podcast. It's Jennifer with me, Russell, and Matt. Jenny's our neighbor. Russell's my brother. Matt's my friend. Oh, gosh, sorry to downgrade you. I should say bestie. I usually say bestie.
It's okay. My ego doesn't require it.
Okay. Anyways, Russell's got a sweet list to read off of topics that we'll bite on tonight's episode.
Hey, but I'm going to read this list, but real quick, before I get into this list, can you tell me why Rex isn't joining us for this podcast and why he was not on the last one?
Oh, because he turncoated. He ran.
It's actually a great point. I'll be honest. It has taken just my own energy to just get me across the street into the studio podcast, much less thinking in advance and like sending a text message to Rex about it. But that's a really good idea. There's no reason he can't be on this.
Oh, except that he hates technology.
It's only a good phone call from Russell to Rex to explain that. Okay, Russell, so is that an indication that Rex should join on another future podcast? Especially while I'm traveling,
That'd
he
be
should
fun.
join.
You didn't really answer the question, so it sounds like I'm supposed to assume no one just invited him.
We didn't invite him. That's the answer. We should.
Well, we got to clarify. Rex moved away, like states
Yeah,
away.
he's in Utah.
Yeah.
But it's okay. And he doesn't like technology, but we can get him on the podcast. Video. I mean, we're not talking just audio, guys. We're talking on video.
And he was not fired.
All right.
He was an excellent employee. He just quit.
Yeah.
He found another job that suited him better. We're on good terms.
Rex was Matt's employee, just to clarify.
And my friend.
And his friend.
And still my friend.
Yeah. All right, Russell.
Rex was my friend too.
He was all of our friends.
He was he was my favorite Quantum Bombs guest. Okay.
Well, he was actually a member, but that's okay.
Okay. So today we got Zimbabwe launched a gold-backed digital token. There's tipping is now regular in stores. So when you go out to eat at a restaurant and tip, you're also going to be tipping for your groceries and getting coffee in Starbucks.
Nope.
A 7,000-year-old road was found underwater off the coast of Croatia. A Hebrew Bible that's 1,100 years old sold for $38 million in an auction. Of course, Target and North Face rolled out their LGBTQIA plus clothing line.
Sweet.
With tuck-friendly swimsuits for children.
Finally.
Man, you got the debt ceiling showdowns going on, and then we had that truck that jumped the curb around the White House. There was a Nazi flag inside, no coincidence. Joe Biden says a white supremacist is under your bed, and Ron DeSantis is announcing he's running for president on Twitter Spaces with Elon right now.
Hey, is that just a Joe Biden word salad, or did he mean something by under the bed? What does that mean?
Oh, I made that up. But he did give a speech at a college and said that, and he said for a while now that white supremacist is the biggest problem in America right now.
Oh, there's Nazi marches everywhere, all the time.
That's my only comment. That was the only thing I first wanted to comment. We don't have to. It's the obvious. If you hear that from our president a few months back, the largest threat to us is white supremacy. And I would say I have a wide swath of friends. I live in the South. I listen to all types of media and social media, and I actually don't know a white supremacist.
Well,
so I thought
they burned the cities for 3 months.
Anyways, what my point is when a Nazi flag appears on the White House lawn, I'm like, oh, dear Lord, I'm not buying it for a second. So, yeah, of course, Twitter is blowing up saying it's a false flag.
I had one more, and The Little Mermaid that Disney redid with black characters, and no one went to go see it in China, and they couldn't make. I don't think they made any money from it, so the Black Mermaid was a flop.
Is it going to be distributed in the United States, I wonder?
I think it already was, and then it went there afterwards.
Well, how did it do in the States?
Terrible. I don't know. I just know that it was like really bad.
It did as good as
China.
Cleopatra being a black character did on Netflix.
Well, wasn't Cleopatra black?
Actually, that's what I want to say. Okay, so by the way, they've been trying to cancel Netflix because they just released a Cleopatra nonfiction documentary, and they were saying she's black. And I actually saw the first episode, and I didn't think anything of it because Mesopotamia, Saudi Arabia, like it's all very confusing to me, like meaning like until I've actually visited there, I don't actually know what the ethnicity and the is there. But
it wasn't like Liz Taylor.
But to answer your question, I actually think I wish maybe Russell or someone can weigh in. Apparently she wasn't, or it's up for a huge debate because it created a huge culture war. Like a lot of people were saying cancel Netflix because of it, even though no one's going to cancel Netflix because.
What about?
I don't think she was
Cuties?
white.
What?
Cuties, like a year ago.
Oh yeah.
There was this show of kids that were twerking.
Stay on top of
That was Netflix, and people were saying to cancel it then. There
I
was
know,
a big
but
cancel
can you-
campaign back then.
It's funny because I'll cancel a lot of things, but well, actually,
But you're not canceling that Netflix.
can you at least answer our question though, Russell? Matt, to my point, I don't think people will be pushing back if she wasn't
Wait,
not black.
Matt, I said
So I mean, I actually think, but okay, here's my thing. I totally think Jesus looks like a Syrian because he's from near Syria.
He ain't white.
So he definitely ain't white. So I mean, like, I actually wish he was dark like he should be. And just to note, I'm usually typically I find myself being attracted to darker men or whatever. Like
Now,
Jesus
I'm the
looking
darkest
folks.
guy in here. Y'all all a bunch of German
But
whiteys.
I also love blondes and stuff like that. But yeah, I mean, there's been several times I've had crushes on guys from the Middle East. Can somebody speak to Cleopatra though, or no?
oh God. Who
Okay,
knows?
who cares?
She
All
didn't
right.
look like Elizabeth Taylor did in the original Cleopatra movie. I promise you.
Yeah. Well, okay. Is it Egypt?
I thought so. Like, I thought I wouldn't have thought she was black because I feel like we did that in schooling. I mean, with my children.
In that schooling.
In one of the books, we did Cleopatra, and I thought it was, she was Egyptian. I should remember that.
Oh,
but
yeah.
I don't.
So is that the
how-
argument? They want her to be Egyptian versus African American,
That
which
makes
is
sense.
many
to me.
different races.
I haven't heard about it, but
She
I don't know.
is
guess
the
that's why they say
queen
black.
of the Ptolemaic kingdom of Egypt.
Well, that really helps us. I mean,
But
I've
Egypt-
already read about it. Okay, we'll move on because this is actually old news. But you were asking if something was canceled, and I said like Cleopatra was. What was that? Oh, the Chinese Little Mermaid. I see. Okay, well, that's good pop culture news to know, Russell, that China's
Oh,
a bit on the
man.
nationalist side.
Hold on a second. Freaking Tina Turner died today, man. That sucks. What's love got to do with it? That woman got legs that go on for centuries.
Is it bad that
She
I thought
doesn't
she
have
already
long legs.
died?
Yeah, well, leave. The door is right there.
I mean, how
Tina
many
Turner?
times did I kid her? I actually thought she might have died. I think she was one of those celebrities that like it was leaked that she had passed, but she didn't. Like that happens a
Oh,
lot
yeah,
with
that makes
celebrities.
sense.
Because
Man.
I actually thought the same thing too when he told me.
I love Tina.
I wasn't sure if he was kidding or if he just read that.
No, she did. She died today, 83 years old, I think. And I think she did her last concert. She was 70 something,
Wow.
and she still had legs that rocked.
She's got great legs, but I'm going to go out on a hunch and say she's not taller than 5'5".
Who cares?
Well, you said she's got legs for days.
But the muscle.
Yes, she
was
does have
freaking
nice legs, but
Clydesdale
they're not
legs,
long.
man. They were all. You know what? They were perfect. I like Tina Turner. Millions of people agree with me.
Well, she got great legs. They're just not long. All right, so let's go back to Russell's list. We've already knocked out because we don't need to spend any more time on Joe Biden's fake news about
Well,
is it
What's more surprising to me is Matt thought Joe Biden actually said that a white supremacist is under your bed.
I know,
wouldn't
I
you?
know.
Because that's
I mean,
not surprising for him
No.
to say
Oh,
anything.
anyway.
He mumbles stuff.
I got
He does-
hair on my legs, and kids
he
like to
does
rub it
say
down.
that they are the largest threat, so why not just say they're also under your bed? Because no one believes it. I mean, the largest threat, I would be like, well, I don't know. We got like a lot of other bad things
Look.
happening, like children disappearing or fentanyl just
boogie-
killing over your friends trying to do cocaine on the weekends. I mean, come on, we
The
got
boogeyman
got some
hides under your
problems.
bed when you're a kid and you're afraid of this fictional thing. So I'm just
Or-
pointing out that he's like hyped up white supremacy.
I heard
so
some
much.
German last night coming from under my bed. Sieg Heil, Schnell, ja, just-
Corporatocracy is our greatest threat to democracy. But anyways, I digress. Okay, so let's see. You got some other topics under there.
Tipping was one of them.
Oh yes,
The
I wanted to
tipping.
bring
I'm
that one
interested
up.
in that.
That's
Yeah.
stupid. In a time where everybody's hurting for money,
Well,
we're supposed to tip
first-
them.
I've got a
you-
really-
You do
more.
tip
I've got a-
on your coffee. We've been tipping on coffee
I
for
tip
about
when there's
5
a
to 10
server.
years.
When there's a person serving me, I tip them. When I go to the grocery store and buy some apples, I pay for the apples. I don't. Oh, let me give you another tip.
If you have to walk to the counter, if someone has to walk something to you where you're seated, you tip. Otherwise, if someone carries your bag, I guess the smallest thing is like in Vegas when someone opens the cab door they're supposed to tip.
Yeah, but you're seeing it in places you normally wouldn't. And then today, I didn't tip at the med spa. I felt bad, but I just feel like that's not really out there yet.
Here's what you do. Here's the hack.
What do you tip at a med spa when you spend a few $100s on their services
I tip
already?
When I go to
tip-
get my hair done, it's and I actually had this friend that used to do my hair all the time before I knew you were supposed to tip hairdressers, and I never tipped her because I didn't know. And
I didn't
now
tip my
always
hairdresser,
tip,
but it was a few $100s again. So
I
it's just
tip
like,
my
once I'm paying a few
skydiving
$100
instructor
bucks-
every time. Every time we land and walk away alive, I give that sucker a tip.
So there's a couple drive-through restaurants that I go to. I get food, and when you pay with a credit card, they bring you the receipt on a clipboard with like a tip thing. Mm-hmm. Like, I'm in a drive-through. I shouldn't be tipping.
You're right.
So what I figured out to avoid this awkward, like me not tip, because I have to proactively write the total down, which is including no tip. I just pay cash. They just bring you the exact change, and there's no questions about it.
Or you just
Thank God for
sign.
cash.
I ignore the tip area, but on those electronic things, when Latte hands you the silly iPad,
That's how you get COVID-19.
I just totally get guilted, and I usually do $1 because
Well,
it's the drive-through.
What I don't like is they set your card on top of it, so when you go to get your card, you just press tip
Press
on
25,
accident.
and
Yeah.
it's like the largest tip. It happened to me the
Trick.
other day, and then they're like, "Do you want us to refund you?" Because I was like, "Yeah, I didn't mean to tip $3 or $5, something insane. It's a drive-through." And then they're like, "Well, we could just." It'll just take a second. I'm like, oh, this is so embarrassing. I'm like, because
Taking our
now I'm
tip
the
off.
person taking the huge tip I did not intend to give. Anyways, but it is creeping in more.
Why?
You did say at other places that matter. I'm okay with food and
Like
staying around
grocery
the food
stores.
stuff.
Come on.
Yeah, that doesn't make any sense.
Yeah.
So what's the information on this? Where do you? I'm not saying I don't believe you. I'm just saying what's the news about it? Because
There is. This is just a cultural change, a technological change. It's easy to implement into technology. I was actually buying a pair of shorts on Instagram, and they had a stinking tip there on there.
That's
it was like
weird.
just like in case you wanted to give us more money.
I'm going to do that for selling explosives.
I'm trying to plug in discount
You
codes
should.
to see how cheap I can get these shorts
Yeah.
that are probably crap anyways. But the ad,
know what?
The ad got me.
Add a tip.
I'm going
tip
to
your
invoice my government contractors,
With a
and
tip.
on the invoice, it's going to be optional tip, 10, 25, 15%.
just be like restaurants and say, "Oh, sorry, you have too many people there," so it's automatic 18%.
Automatic
You don't have an
18%, baby.
option.
It
we
said,
just charge you.
So,
Yeah.
like, on the checkout, it said tip, and I was like, tip, and then it had an explanation, support such and such company. And that was all, like, in case you wanted to give us more money, we'll take it. The IRS does this. You can give them money if you want.
Oh, does anybody do that?
No, nobody does this.
Somebody out there somewhere believes in it.
Nobody's done it.
I get the groceries, so when I do grocery pickup, they're bringing it to my car and putting it in my car for me and closing it. I don't mind giving them a couple bucks for a tip.
Sure.
And the baggers. I
Because
remember when I
somebody's
was a
doing
kid.
something above.
Yeah, when I was a kid and we would go to the grocery store, my grandmother would always tip the bagger.
That's nice.
Just was what you do. I
Did he
don't-
walk you out with the.
They offer to.
Yeah.
Yeah, they offer to. And HEB does. Do you need help out? I'm like,
Yeah,
"No,
what
got it,
happened
thanks."
to altruistic, like people just helping you without needing a tip
Nobody's
back?
ever offered to carry my shit.
Now, I do want to say, I mean, especially for those listening abroad, America is set up with jobs that are paid in full, not needing, well, at least set up back in the day, not needing a tip. And then some jobs here are set up where they are need your tip in order to make money. And Americans are really usually aware of that.
Yeah, like a waitress.
Yeah, and then you would assume this guy taking your groceries to your car, like growing up, that was actually supposed to be done, especially for like the elderly and the moms and stuff. Whereas now, yeah, anyways, I don't know. Now I feel a bit guilty about my med spa. I stiffed them. It's okay, but I mean, you're already paying hundreds of bucks.
But the people doing that aren't really getting the $100. The company is getting the hundreds of dollars, and they get a base pay per.
That's a
thing
good
that
question.
They do.
Where does the tip go when you tip a grocery store?
Oh, that's yes.
If you tip if you were to tip online,
If you're doing
it
self-checkout.
probably doesn't.
If you're doing
yeah,
self-checkout
unless
and you
buy
give a
it,
tip.
unless they divvy it out.
Unless you're giving cash directly to the person, it may even be divided up. So a lot of people intentionally tip with cash to the person they want to actually receive
That's
it.
what I like to do.
Yeah.
Give it
That's
to them.
that's what my dad does. Because if you pay with a credit card, even if he pays with a credit card, he will personally hand cash to the wait staff he wants
Yeah.
to get because they can slip that in their pocket, and I mean, maybe
They get it.
maybe they're not supposed to. Yeah, but they at least have the option to get 100% of it.
And they don't have to claim it on their taxes because it was cash.
Right.
That's another benefit. But I wonder, technically, I bet they're supposed to report to the restaurant and then add it to the pool and then only get a fraction. But who knows?
Certain
That
places do
depends
that,
on the
yeah.
restaurant. Yeah, because it depends on the
A
setup.
lot of bars are like
I was
that
gonna
because
say,
they'll
it's
tip the
usually
barbacks out.
Yeah, if it has a bar, it gets more complicated. Yeah. Okay. Well, seems like there's not much else going on, guys. So
Okay, that's a wrap.
I'm just
Talk about the
kidding.
Bible.
I mean, I feel like we should just jump into North Face and Target. Try to have an intellectual conversation if we even feel like it. I mean,
Nope.
Tim Cass did a pretty good job.
Matt's tired of talking about
Well,
genitals.
I got one. I know it's going to come up, and I got a thought about it.
Well, okay, let me just we should all brief the situation. But, I'm kind of surprised because we're about 6 weeks after Bud Light, maybe 7 or 8 weeks after the Bud Light debacle. And I feel like the Target campaign just was released about 3 or 4 days ago, and North Face maybe today or yesterday. So this is pretty new. So they didn't. And however, it is said now. Okay, so Target obviously you probably have seen. Go to YouTube and look for the tuck friendly swimsuit edition. Basically, where trans women can wear a bathing suit that gives your genitals enough room to stay comfy, but
She's
yet not
trying
fall
so
out.
hard to not offend anybody.
And I know I had to think about what the technical term was. And then they have chest binding suits. I don't know what that means. And then they also have, they have shirts and clothing for kids and stuff that's going to celebrate Pride Month. But they also hired a Satanist, and that's what he is. His brand is a Satanist.
There you
And
go.
when you look at his Instagram, I mean, I have to say the art colors are all pastels, so they're pretty cool. I'm a person that likes pastels. But it's very for me, I interpret art. You got to look at it, and it's pretty interesting. You've got skulls and
a lot of skeletons.
I mean, there's a lot of skeletons, and it's like Satanist. Satan loves pronouns, and witches love abortion, and it's just all these weird kind of like darker sayings.
Healthy stuff.
Well, Target hired him to design their Pride Month clothes, so that's also happening. And then North Face, when Matt and I saw the commercial, the drag queen they hired to
thought it was a joke.
promote this year's Pride collection, we actually did think it was a joke. I thought it was a conservative right person trolling them. We went to the website, found the line of clothing. I suggested that Matt get some of their rainbow shorts, and there he was. The drag queen was on their website.
Patagonia.
I'm talking over the top.
It's instead of Patagonia.
She's Patagonia.
He is Patagonia.
And so after that happened, I did hear though that Target has now which is weird about the timing. Now Target's concerned about the backlash about their tuck-friendly swimsuits and have removed all of the swimsuits. They removed one, it was, I guess you'd say, down to 1/3 of it to the back of their stores because they're scared of the Bud Light. I
don't think that they understand. People aren't going to quit going to Target. Let's face it; it's too convenient. They've got too much
Target.
stuff. They're too
Target.
cheap.
I know. Well, no. Okay, so go to Walmart. Or here's the thought, though:
Look.
women don't care. You're right. Women are more simplistic. Men are more worried about I ain't drinking, I ain't looking gay, so they're not drinking the Bud Light.
No,
Whereas women.
that's not about
but,
that.
Hey, I know friends that have already deleted the apps.
What app? For Target?
And unsubscribe from their emails. I mean, Russell, if you
I'll
see
drop in the bucket.
Look, it's the swimsuit was pretty bad, but the Satanist stuff. If you have children and you're looking at the clothes that's pretty weird.
Here's
I mean,
why.
even if it doesn't even have to do with trans or anything, it's just
Yeah, Jennifer,
why
go
is
buy your
death
kids some
a
clothes
new-
that says Satan loves you.
or witches love abortion. It's just the
Yeah.
oddest thing
Yeah.
in
You
the
don't want your
world.
kids wearing that? That'd be great.
It has-
Here's why the Target boycott isn't going to be as effective as Bud Light. For Bud Light, all you have to do is just not drink some crappy beer, and there's tons of alternatives. And wherever you're buying this beer, there's going to be a ton of competitors to choose from. It's the most easy boycott to ever participate in. Target, on the other hand, like some people, it may be the most convenient and
baby registry.
most convenient store to shop at with the best prices. They kind of got a monopoly on a bunch of cheap crap. So I don't think it's going to be as effective. Like people are going to be like, yeah, screw Target, but I'm still going to go there because it's like next to my house.
Okay, let's
I'm
ask
not going
the
to
mother,
drive
though.
another
If-
5 miles to
if-
go to another grocery
But if
store.
you were a mother or a father, I think you might, because I also don't have children, guys. Jennifer, what does a parent think of this?
So the last time I went in there, they had this whole section of pride stuff. And it was pointed out to me, and I just kept, and it was actually one of the first things that I saw when I went in the store. You go past the little dollar section, and there it was, which is
I love
fine.
rainbows.
I mean, it's fine. I don't really just love Target anyway. I can go in there and spend nothing. It's easy for me. A lot of people that really like Target, they can't come out of there without spending $100.
Absolutely. It's
like
hard.
Walmart. You can't go in there and not spend money. I mean, a bunch. But I feel like anything I can get in there, I can get somewhere else.
Yeah, Walmart.
If I walk in there and I see all this Satan stuff, I'm going to walk right back
just
out.
weird.
I'm not, like, I shouldn't have to answer questions from my 6-year-old child or 3-year-old child. Or
Why is the
my
devil a
15-year-old
good
for
thing,
that.
Mom?
But it doesn't raise the hair on your back. Because I'm trying to tell Russell, there are parents, like, we don't have kids, so I don't think we're really digesting the culture war that parents might be facing.
Mm-hmm.
Shit, my kids ain't.
Yeah, I actually know somebody. I'm not going to say names or, how I know them. But I know some people that were, I'm going to try to not make it confusing. A man and a woman, they had a child. The man became a woman, the woman became a man, and they decided they would raise their child as a boy. She was a girl. And they decided that when she was probably 3. So that child has no clue.
It'll be a lot of money to
Well,
mental
how
health.
old is the child now?
6, 7, 8. I
Are
don't
they
know.
healthy
I don't.
mentally?
Wait, so hang
whole
on. Well,
thing
I
is
have
screwed
a
up.
question. If they both flipped genders and they stayed together and they were attracted to each other, weren't they just reverting back to being a heterosexual couple?
Pretty much.
So they're cisgendered and bigoted.
Cisgendered and bigoted.
I'm just
Well,
saying.
their whole that's not even the whole story. The whole scenario is they ran off with another child that belonged to somebody else. Basically, kidnapped her, ran from the Child Protective Services, and a lot of other things that they
So
did
stable.
illegally, and then to decide, oh, she thinks she's a boy. She's 3, and now
Get
they
them some
raise her.
hormone
actually-
blockers.
They would.
Jesus.
That's the sad part.
My
They
dad,
probably-
This is like
my
Nazi
dad
shit.
would have transitioned
Yeah.
me when I was younger. I truly was 100% a tomboy. I actually did ask
you would have
Dad
been-
for a sex change. I remember where I was when I asked, and I'm very happy being female now.
What, in
I was just a
1980
tom-
I
something?
forgot
You
you're transgender, Betty.
I played. I mean,
You
I
were
could
a
throw
tomboy for
spiral
sure.
football. Yes,
can spiral
I can
football.
name you all the guys I was best friends with. I had a Braves hat. I had all the Braves people sign it. I mean, I was lockstep. I wanted to be a boy.
You
I
asked for
Dad.
that?
I asked
How
Dad.
old were you?
Yes,
How old?
maybe 4th grade or younger.
You were transgender.
I asked Dad, and so I
wanted to
can
get a
say
wiener.
I'm very happy. My dad just didn't even say anything because
Right, 'cause
it's
it was
just
retarded.
me being a tomboy.
Yeah. So
Yeah.
you actually
No, I remember I asked.
you
yeah,
wanted a surgery.
but I just probably wanted attention.
She
I don't
didn't
know.
know-
I
she
wasn't
didn't know a
taking myself
surgery was an
seriously.
option.
Exactly.
Yeah,
Like,
yeah,
little
I didn't know it
kids
was an
don't know.
option. I was just like, that's what I wanted. So I was like, I want to be a boy, Dad. You know what I mean? I remember though. Yeah, but
yeah, and your dad did the right thing, which
he
is
didn't even
haha.
he
Okay.
didn't even say anything. I don't even
Whatever.
remember because it wasn't a thing to me. It was just what I liked and who I was at the time.
Aren't you glad you didn't get mutilated?
Oh gosh. No, I'm already. Life is already so hard. I don't need any hormones or changing or anything. I'm very happy with.
Well, I guess
my
they'd
life.
have given her testosterone.
But I don't get how they can. Get
I
away
already
with
have
that
enough
at all.
hair. Thank you that I'm zapping off. Can you hand me a beer? The strawberry one.
Yeah, I don't know how they get away with that because do you ask your 3-year-old, oh, do you want a shot today? No. Oh, okay, great. You can make your own decisions
Yeah.
because you're 3.
Right.
5,
Oh
6,
yeah.
8,
So back
whatever.
to that. So you were going somewhere like I know somebody. So were you gonna?
I pretty much just finished
That
what
was
I
it?
said,
But
but
they kidnapped
the
a kid.
kid doesn't. The kid doesn't.
I wanted a strawberry.
No.
I want one of these.
Okay, good.
The kid doesn't know what they want at 3 years old. They don't know. Just like you said, we're like, oh,
believe we
I
have to
want to
say
be a
this?
boy today.
Can you believe we have to say this?
No, I cannot.
This is crazy.
No.
So
How about they make it a rule like every other rule? Oh, when you're 18 or 21, you can make that decision.
yeah, why don't we send 3-year-olds off to war? Like if they're like, I don't like Saddam Hussein, then we should just sign up 3-year-olds. They're ready to go, right? They know what sex they want.
Yeah, because they'll win
So-
the war because they're just going to throw a tantrum.
Parachute, buddy. Hey, when you're at 7,000 feet, pull the cord. Bye. Good luck.
All right. So, okay, any other intellectual thoughts about Target and okay, so North Face, they actually did have the same guy, drag queen, do a commercial for them last year, same time. He was a large silver tent in the field. So yeah, I was actually kind of surprised to hear this about North Face. I guess I'm surprised to see it happen after the Bud Light thing. Any other intellectual thoughts on our culture war?
Yeah, I got one. You guys remember the book Lord of the Flies? Back when they made you read stuff in school. Do you remember that?
They didn't
I
make
didn't
us
read
read
it,
that.
no.
Do you know the story of Lord of the Flies?
No.
Okay. Well, Lord of the Flies is set. It was written, I think, in the 50s sometimes, but I think it's set in the future during a war. And a bunch of British schoolboys, Beth, you'd like that,
Oh, yes.
are a bunch of
35 to
smooth-
45, please apply.
Yeah, a bunch of British schoolboys are on a trip somewhere, and their plane either gets shot down or it has engine trouble. I'm not sure, but it crashes near an island in the Pacific, we're led to believe. And all these schoolboys wash up on this island. The pilot is dead. There's no adults. They're all between the ages, let's say, of 12 to like 15 years old. And they start developing a series of hierarchies, and it divides. So there's the guy that you would classically call alpha, who is leading it with extreme masculinity through brute force, tyrannically. He's in charge of hunting, and all the people under him are the ones building the fires and preparing the meat, and they're hunting the pigs on the island. But then you have the intellectual side, which are like a little fat boy who has glasses. They call him Piggy. And, there's no politically correct bullshit with a bunch of school-age boys on an island with no adult supervision, okay? But there's this one character that is, I guess, the main character of the book, and he's definitely a leader, but more of an intellectual type. And he decides in the end that he needs to break away from this guy that's going overboard, extreme masculinity. And basically two camps develop on the island. And what ends up happening is they revert to savages. And they all, to some degree, revert to savages. Piggy ends up getting killed. They throw him over a cliff and smash his head. I think a few others get killed. They end up going overboard with the pigs, too, like sexually. They make it, it's kind of alluded to. Back then when they made these movies in this book, of course, it wasn't graphic, but they stuck the head of the pig on a stick. And it talked about how the flies were crawling through its skull, and it almost became like they worshipped it. It was like Satan, and they started bowing to this thing, and they would stick the poker up the rear end of the pig, and they were kind of alluding to, sexual activities, I guess. And the whole thing just fell apart, and it ends up with the island is on fire, and a soldier, a landing craft, military operation actually pulls up on the island and sees this island on fire, and all these kids come out looking like little savages, and they're just blown away like, what the hell happened to y'all? They don't even recognize these little kids. They look like savages. And oddly enough, I think that first film was filmed in Vieques, which I have, a history with. But anyway, I feel...
Hey, I'll let you
Like-
flex. Matt owns land on Vieques Island. All right, keep going.
Thanks. That's you flexing. But so I really feel like our country right now, like all the adults are gone, and I feel like either I don't think I'm Piggy, but I'm that other guy that's not just going ape shit, wanting to kill things and all that, and we're definitely not going that way. We're going a weird sexual way, but I feel like all the adults left and they're not coming back. Like, I don't know where the guys are that built our rocket ships. Well, that's Elon Musk, but he's not, we're not making him our hero. We're not building, like, we made restaurants called Sonic. Why Sonic? Because at that time in the 50s and 60s, we were going to space. That was our goal. Science was what our focus was on. But they're still there. They're just kind of sidetracked. And I feel like our main focus is this lunchroom where all the adults have left. They've made it very clear they're not coming back. We're in charge. And I'm getting nervous because I feel like we're hitting that point of that critical mass before everything goes truly apeshit. What comes next after this? Really, stop and think. What comes next after bathing suits where men tuck their balls in and pretend that they're women, and we're telling kids at 3 and 4 years old to switch their sex? Seriously, go 5 and 10 years further than that. It's not going to fall back. The adults are not coming back to rein us in.
I think it's obvious that pedophilia is the next frontier.
And animals, that animal shit. What do you call it? Bestiality.
Bestiality, yeah.
Yeah. So,
Okay.
but here's my thing: if they're not coming back, keep in mind that a healthy environment does have diversity, but everybody has value, and that means that old hard, crusty, you may say Christian guy over there that is uppity or whatever, holding his values. We're like doing away with him, and we need them. We need somebody pulling that way. We need somebody that says, hey, here's a moral standard that we need to set to. And we've basically shunned all that, and we're going extreme the other way. Extremes anyway is not really good, but this is extreme. If you took somebody from 1999, if you took somebody from 2010, 12, 2016, and you said, hey, watch the news of what's happening in 2023, they'd be blown away.
I think, we follow the money, follow the trail with North Face and Target. Vanguard and Blackrock, I believe, are ownership and stakes in those companies. So, because, there's the conspiracy idea that Bud Light and Bud Woke and, what's it, Bud White? Oh, well, they got some cute names for them. That was
Woke.
intentional, meaning like they knew they'd lose money. So some people are saying it's intentional, like you're going to lose the money, but so it's the narrative of what do they want. Is there and look, I'm such an easygoing person and like so chill. It's hard for me to really believe like are there really Dr. Evils at Blackrock and Vanguard? Which reminds me that today that they did have that meeting in Lisbon about the AI. We'll get to that, but. I don't know. What are y'all's thoughts? Russell, you're familiar with Vanguard and BlackRock. What would they gain by, I guess, confusing the children? Because, Matt, I do say I like the way you sum that up. Like, in 10 years from now, what does our future look like if you have children that are so confused? Think about how confusing it was for us growing up. We actually played ball in the street and like Foursquare. We skinned our knees. I had no confusion about gender or my roles, even though I already told y'all on this podcast I wanted to be a boy, but that still felt really normal and healthy to me. I still struggle with my mental health every single day, so I couldn't imagine what it would be like for children in the future.
I want to say something real quick, and then I do want Russell to say this, but to your point of the way it was when we were kids, let me tell you how it was when my dad was a kid. The local jail was in our town, downtown, and my dad's friend, his father was the sheriff. And a bunch of kids, all the buddies, 6, 7 of them, would go up to the jailhouse, and there was a pile of guns that they had taken from the prisoners. A pile, just laying in the corner of the jail. One of them was a belt-fed 30 caliber machine gun on a rolling mount, okay? The kids would take these guns. The sheriff would check them, make sure they're empty, and they would run around the town playing cowboy and Indian with real guns that they took from the police station. And they would bring them back at the end of the day and throw them back in the pile. They would go to the riverbank and shoot tin cans, and the cops would come over and shoot tin cans with the kids and their parents on the riverbank in town. We've come a long way. You could order artillery back then. You could buy dynamite at the hardware store. We have always had these scary things. If you're doing it, I always hear, trust the science. Baby, I trust the science. That shit never changed.
And he's a chemist, so he actually is a scientist.
We changed. Those things, those inanimate objects, and the accessibility to them was way more 60, 70 years ago. You could buy Thompson submachine guns like nobody's business. That availability was way more accessible then. It didn't change. We did.
Or our population changed, or maybe it didn't. I could be wrong. I guess thank you for that, Matt. It's a good good way to picture it. Russell, what were you going to do? You have any thoughts on Vanguard and BlackRock? And Because I mean, I heard that theory tossed out, more than once that they're behind a lot of the grooming. I guess you would call it grooming of our youth and these well, basically just making life about genitals. Let's just call it what it is. Like we grew up, I didn't need you, Jennifer, or any of you to interview me and know what I like to rub my crotch on.
Ugh, nobody wants to know.
Or what I thought my crotch identified as. I was just there to fucking punch numbers into your computer as fast as I can, or fake it. But you get what I'm saying. Yeah, I mean, not fake it, but like fake work fast. Anyways, there you go, Russell. I'm throwing the ball to you now as you're pondering something.
We can do a lot out there. What can you be more specific?
Okay. Yes, I'm asking you your thoughts on Blackrock and Vanguard being behind. They're the hands that are saying, do these campaigns. Make the children think we should only talk about genitals in life or identify as genitals versus people of character.
I think that the general topic is
and responsibility. That's two things that should be out there. Sorry.
I think that the general topic is just one of few. I think that that there's also an agenda to make men more feminine and have them not be leaders. I think, but that's just one point.
Actually,
so I think you're getting isolated on like
genitals.
There's a lot of ways to attack a society, and basically the opposite of any tradition. We know that traditional values and the institution of marriage that procreates, because the most important thing a society can do to exist is procreate and bring children into the world. That's like the number one thing it has to do. Self-replicate. You have to have it like any cattle farmer knows that the most important thing it can do is procreate. You have to keep having babies. So disrupting that, if you can disrupt the families and disrupt marriages, then you're disrupting the way children are raised. And if you can screw the kids up, you can also when they get later on in life, they're not going to be married and having kids because they're screwed up and have psychological problems. So you can disrupt societies as a whole this way.
So you could say with your analogy with men being less manly, and okay, so to Jordan Peterson's main point, which is responsibility. So you're saying they're teaching us to be less responsible, but let me ask you this: why would they want to disrupt society? Why is a bunch of shareholders in these large conglomerates interested in screwing us up?
Well, if you're you're asking me about like BlackRock, and you're trying to find like some financial incentive, which
isn't it always though financial incentive, or
I don't think so. It doesn't make so. Not only do the things they're doing not make any financial sense, but you have to also realize that they're cantillionaires. They get money printed and handed to them. They're part of the system. They don't need to like turn a profit in a traditional way in which you're thinking. So like money, they're beyond money.
So
you're
then,
thinking.
So this doesn't. Okay, so then we could toss them out of the whole idea of them being behind it. Then, so I just don't know why we're doing this to ourselves.
Because the adults live.
I don't think so. I just don't think. I don't think you're going to make any sense of it if you continue to think about it from like a human versus human with human incentives problem. The only way to view it properly, in my opinion, if it makes any sense, is a spiritual battle. That's the only thing that makes sense.
Really?
I mean, how do you think all of these, like the war is happening on society? The only other way it would make sense is if you're somehow sophisticated enough to benefit from, or if you can collapse Western culture and then somehow, like at that point, like you've got so much money. I think anyone involved in pulling any strings is beyond money. Like they have.
I think you're right. I think it's a manifestation of a spiritual battle.
Yeah. Because why would people, if you had money or wanted power, want to collapse on the very society that they have the power of?
Because I think something
otherwise
longer,
you're just living in a doomed third world shithole.
Something bigger that lives longer than mankind moves within men, and I think there's two dueling forces there.
Well, it's also like if you want to think about it from the Hawkins scale of consciousness, which is like enlightened at the top and like toxic at the bottom. I mean, you could think about it like that, and all the human beings that are, like a lot of them are down at the bottom, and they're resonating with just toxic crap. So they're pulling everybody down. Everybody at the top is pulling everybody up. So you can get, I guess, so low. Like, I wonder about this a lot. Like,
Well,
like Bill Gates, where's he at on that? Like, is he so low? He's got like shark eyes. He's like,
well, one enlightened person can do more than millions. So I guess it'd be very dangerous if Bill Gates was let's say instead of enlightened, let's call it alignment, right? Like you're in line with source and creation and creator or whatever for the good. We'll say good and bad. We'll make it easy for you and for anybody that doesn't want to get too religious. I think Bill Gates definitely is like a neutral because he has a lot of intellect, but his vibration of what he wants is probably like neutralizing it.
I think he's bought into the whole shrink in the world population, though.
But how would you?
Humans are bad
here's
idea.
Here's what's funny is how could you have one smart billionaire saying, "I want to shrink the population." You have the next smart billionaire, Elon Musk, saying, "Guys, I'm sounding the alarm for the millionth time. We are facing a human crisis and shortage of people.
The reason
soon."
he's pro-human. He's being called a speciesist.
Yeah.
Speciesist. So
What a sexy guy.
he thinks humans are good and that we should colonize the stars. And then the other idea, I think the other people think that humans are bad and we're destroying the planet. We should just there's also the Extinction Rebellion. Have you guys seen this? These people, they're like, think we all should kill ourselves, but yet
I've heard of that.
They're not killing themselves. They're just like taping them or painting. They're gluing themselves to paintings and stuff.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I love well, I don't want to get into that.
I heard Elon's reasoning behind that. He says that, if you have 100 people, a very small percentage of those people are going to be really intellectual, above average intelligence, and they're going to be driven, and they're going to be the movers and shakers that change the world. And he's saying that, well, extrapolate that out. If we have more people, we're going to have more of that small percentage. It's almost like enriching uranium for a bomb, or doing a chemical process where the top 5% gives you what you need. Well, you have to do a lot of it to get more of it. So he's like, to get more of these people, they're going to help us move beyond where we're at. We need more people, because as we shrink that crowd, I mean, just for instance, let's say that everyone in the world was dead except for the people in our town. Let's say about 3,000 people. How many of those people at 3,000 know how to keep a power plant running?
Or can fly a plane.
Or a few of them can fly a plane, but how many of them know how to go and extract ore to make copper, to make wire, to make the cell phone tower run? It takes a lot of people to sustain the technological level we're at. And so Elon's reasoning is we need more people to keep pushing this.
What you're kind of alluding to is that all of our technological innovation is a direct result of population growth. So it only stands to reason that the more we can grow our population, the more technological innovation we're going to have.
I would say numerically that's correct, because look at just my children, for instance. They don't all have the same aptitude. One wants to be a farmer. Sarah, God knows what she's going to be.
Well, do you
so what you're talking about is
technological advancement.
What you're talking about is a larger talent pool to draw from for innovation. But that not only do you have that, you have when you view what you are, human species is good, and you're having an expansive mindset. And you have the necessity to technologically innovate. Had we only had small cities and small populations, would we have ever figured out how to build skyscrapers?
No, we don't need it.
And so on innovation, good innovation for the good of people until the snake eats its tail, right? So is that why they were meeting? So the powers that be, the 1%, like you could call them, like it sounds like the Bilderberg group, they met today in Lisbon to talk about the AI technology.
What'd they say about it?
Well, I don't know. That the news was that they were just meeting. Like, that's news itself. I wonder what, because they're, so you say that we should, I get it, keep making people so we can keep innovating. I mean, how much innovation is enough, right? Because my opinion, but the answer to life and happiness and fulfillment is self-realization. The point of life is to find God, to find purpose. So technology is just a distraction from that. So how much in it, and I already can order, I can do everything. I don't even have to leave, like all I have to do is blink and everything is done, right? Everything's on command, right?
You're
To
thinking,
your logic, by
you're
your
thinking
point.
way too small.
So-
like, how much is enough? There's an
innovation.
There's an entire universe uncolonized out there. So, like, you're
All
thinking
right, all right.
entirely
So
too
you're
small.
talking
Yeah,
about
because if
split-
God
okay.
likes to be loved, more people to love him is better.
I mean, I guess you're right. Like, I could get sick of hiking beautiful mountains in my life, so space exploration might be needed in case my curiosity needs to keep getting stroked. Because I guess you're right. I could die
Well, look,
bored in this
do you-
lifetime on Earth.
do you realize people had to get on a boat and risk their life at sea in some wooden piece of crap boat for
I'm
2
do-
months
hey,
to
I'm-
get on this continent?
I'm doing that in 9 months.
and
going
then they
to Europe.
stole this land.
That's
but,
right. And then they had hostiles when they're here.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So we don't have that sense of adventure. You're right. So
No,
I guess you're saying we need to keep pioneering.
A fraction of humanity absolutely does have that sense of expansive. Like, they want to go explore, and these are going to be the people that make the first trip to Mars in the next year or two.
Yeah, I relate to that speech that was given in that movie with Shelby. It was Ford versus
Ferrari.
Yeah, he says, my grandfather said, or my dad said, son, a truly blessed man is a man who loves what he does, for he'll never work a day in his life. And he said, but there are a few. And he said, there's damn few, but they have something in life that they have to do. And he goes, I'm one of them. And I understand that. I relate to that. I'm driven by what I do. And it took me a long time, and I've only recently come to terms with the fact that, and it's okay, but I'm different. Like, a lot of people do not have a passion for something like that. They don't. I talk to a lot of people, and I'm like, well, what do you love to do? And they're like, well, I like to travel. I like to take pictures. But you ask me what I like to do. I like to blow shit up. I like explosives, and I like the chemistry behind it. And I like developing products that surround that. It's not the money. It's not it's nothing of that. It's about freedom. But the freedom to do what with all my free time? Make explosive devices. It's what I do. I mean, somebody has to do it, and I love doing it. But there's not a lot of people that do that, and that goes back to that percentage thing. You have a very small percentage of people that know. They're like, I don't just like to do it. I have to do it. What's up?
We have another.
I'm just typing notes for our new virtual assistant that will be uploading our podcast. So
Whenever I talk, Beth turns off.
no, I heard you. Shoot, I'm sorry. I'm second beer, so I'm not that bright and it's late. But I mean, I was listening, but I've heard it. I'm your bestie. I heard it all.
Oh yeah, it's true.
I feel like we were talking about something else, but all right. Colonizing space or something.
Well, the people
The-
that are going to colonize
Got
space are the ones
sidetracked
that
on
have
Matt
something they have
blowing
to do.
stuff up.
Oh, sorry. That's
Well, I'm saying the people
Oh,
that are
you
going to
said-
colonize space are those few that have it. They have to do it. They're driven.
Yeah, people are different. You're gonna have outliers that want to. That's why the genetic diversity works, and a couple of them are gonna be oddball enough to want to actually put themselves on a spaceship and cast themselves out into the space.
God bless
And-
them, 'cause
and
that's what moves
procreate.
us forward.
yeah.
But we got to have a population to have that percentage. So need to get sexy time going, and that means man and woman.
Hey, I don't know. Well, you're right. I'm just gonna make a joke about me freezing my eggs, but
Thank God.
yeah,
At least you're being
I'm trying.
proactive.
I'm trying to be proactive. Yeah,
I mean, you actually have good genetics. You should push that on.
yeah.
British
the
guys.
most part.
She's available.
Yeah. 35, 45, please apply. All right, Russell, back to current topics. So we were actually talking, that actually answered my question. Thank you on the Vanguard stuff. I'll be thinking about it over the next few weeks. If it's powers that be or more spiritual warfare and all designed by Maya for us to make the world spin.
Oh, it's so complicated, right?
Yeah, I mean, on top of that, we have a lot of war stuff happening right now. Jennifer, what other topic did Russell read that you want to talk about?
The really old Bible that sold for
Oh,
$38 million.
I wish I had that one
That
under the
was
pew.
one of my wanted to ask about. So I think so. You mentioned it was a Hebrew, so it's Jewish, right? Which makes it even more valuable. Like a rabbi would need to read it, or a Jewish person.
Did it have the New Testament in it?
Yeah. What? It's one of the. It was what I was surprised by. It's one of the oldest surviving biblical manuscripts. So there's another one out there somewhere.
Well, how old is it again? Say that.
1,100 years old.
Oh, well, it could have the New Testament in it.
Really?
Jesus was like 2,000 years ago.
Oh yeah.
Like 900
No,
years after
that's a
Jesus.
good. I thought when you said that, for whatever reason, I heard like King James. I heard. I thought they have like modern translations, and I thought you were referring to a modern translation. But no, the New Testament can be written in Hebrew, right? Or
It could be written in anything as
Yeah.
long as it's after Jesus. I mean, that's what it's about.
It'd be interesting to hear the translation from that Bible versus now.
Yeah, that's true.
Because it's been translated so many times in
Good
so many
point.
languages.
somebody who's really rich wants to get to the bottom of what it actually says. So they're like, I'm gonna go back and then they're gonna pay for someone to translate it for them.
38 million, huh?
Yeah.
Dang. Well, it's off topic,
Cheap.
but I was watching, actually, this is on topic for current events. Air came out, and I want to say, I didn't know what it was about. I just, saw it was number 1 on Amazon Prime, hit play. And, man, it was nostalgic. I'll actually give a shout out to my mom who's passed. She used to wait in line with she's a woman, would wait in line at like 6 a.m. Do you remember she'd leave early for the malls, Russell, to go buy me Air Jordans? And she would stand in line. All right, I'm just going to be real. She'd be the only white woman in line, okay? Like, with a lot of, like, black guys.
Your
Because,
mom
like,
did
okay,
that for you?
mainly the people that wore, like, those shoes are black guys that play basketball. And I actually, I played a ton of basketball with the guys here in town, to put it simply, again, going back to my tomboy. Yeah, she would, so we knew the days that it'd come out. Anyways, so Air came out, which was an awesome film about greatness, about Michael Jordan. And Nike, the legend of Nike wouldn't exist. All of that wouldn't be here today unless that story that you can watch on the film. But I found it interesting that a guy in the show or the story was offered money for the Martin Luther King speech. So when he was done, he walked off stage. The guy was there and he gave him his speech. And the first half was accurate, and then you could see the part where he completely changed it. Apparently he improv'd with the crowd and like went with the mood and went a different direction. And I don't know, it made me think of the Bible thing where like he's a normal, regular person, and he would not for no amount of money would he sell it. That's integrity. That's special. That's pretty cool. Like, obviously it moved him, the speech, but like it moved him enough where he wouldn't sell that speech for no amount of money.
Imagine being the one
And it
that
was the
sold
I have
Bible.
a dream. It was the I have the dream speech. Sorry, I should have prefaced.
Hey, that's holy money.
The Bible? I don't know. That thing's been changed so many
You have
times.
something that old and it's the Bible. Why would you want to sell it?
Well, I would just photocopy every page, then sell that sucker for 38 mil and be like, peace, bro. I still got it.
You know what I do? I'd sell you the
Huge
part that
history.
they changed in 535 AD when they took out reincarnation.
I just
I'd definitely
had
release that one.
the
I didn't
strongest deja vu.
Yeah, because we've done podcasts in this room
No,
before.
no.
About reincarnation.
So deja vu in my head is more about colors and feel than actual physical surroundings, if that makes any sense. But what's weird about my deja vu is I get a feeling for what's coming next. And it usually happens. That's weird.
You're going to tell us what it was? You're going to surprise us? Like, that's what I was talking about right there.
No, it's a feeling. It's I can't explain it. A freaking language sucks, y'all. I feel like an alien stuck in a body when half the controls are broke because
It's the kind of stuff you just keep to yourself.
oh,
You
sorry.
don't have the words for what you're feeling.
Yeah. What? That was cool.
I got another topic.
I ain't gonna lie. I do think our beers are gotten to us.
Not
We're
mine. I can
kind of
handle
all
it.
Water.
lightweights.
And coffee.
Hey, Jennifer
Gotten
on the
is the
block, what you
wrong-
got?
Wrong dialect.
I don't
everywhere.
remember the rest of the topics.
You said you got a topic.
No, I said, do we have another
Look,
topic?
We didn't graze over that there's a road 7,000 years old in Croatia, 16 feet under the water. Guys, we blooped this episode and we talked about it already. recorded and unrecorded it. So we did. That's a good topic too. We already talked about it, though.
I would like to
Just
know what
kidding.
that road is made out of, and they can do all these roads that they keep having to redo every 2 years.
Yeah, right.
With the same
Yeah,
thing.
7,000.
I'm actually just curious how they can identify it as a road. I mean, like, hey, this part, like, for 10 feet wide is crushed rocks
maybe it's
versus over
cobblestone.
there. Oh, you're right. Maybe.
Cobblestone Road. I mean,
Well, hey, how did
It's
they make
exactly what
roads
it is.
7,000
It's a-
years
If
ago?
you look at it, it's a bunch of stones that are clearly laid to pave a road. I mean, it's a paved road. It's a paved road of stone, and maybe they have mortar and like lime concrete in between for mortar.
So how
Wow.
do they date it back 7,000 years? I mean, I guess they just do it the same way they date everything back. They just science. I trust it.
No, that's a really good question. If you look at like it's like if you look at if you actually read the article, it's like 3,000 to 10,000.
I like that. I like that they're not trying to say they know it all.
Yeah.
Plus, minus.
No, they definitely don't know. But there's a lot of debate. Like, if you watch, is it Ancient Apocalypse? Have you guys seen that with Graham Hancock? There's a lot of debate about just how old like the Egyptian pyramids are and the
A lot.
Sphinx.
yeah,
So,
especially
like,
Sphinx.
I think he thinks like that it's thousands of years older than what traditional science says it is.
Yeah, from what I heard, I kind of think that the pyramids date back to before the Egyptians. I think they came along and they were there.
Yeah, so he thinks they actually rebuilt it, and when you rebuilt some of that stuff, and when you go down in them, you can actually see a difference in the stone and the construction style. And he thinks like this is like, okay, this was 10,000 years ago, and this is 5,000 years ago or whatever. But
Yeah, the story of those pyramids, we would need a whole podcast just on it. It's mind blowing. It's crazy mind candy. So much stuff about the construction of it, the shape of it,
Do
how
you
it affects
know-
electromagnetic waves.
If you visit there in person, can you go inside the pyramids?
Parts of it, I think. Well, I don't
Be a
know about that.
letdown. Be a letdown.
Well, here's what's weird. There's a tunnel that goes down like 250 feet that goes for miles, apparently, but they've got it blocked off. They won't let anybody in there. Underground. And it's not like modern people made that tunnel. That tunnel dates way back. These guys tunneled this perfect tunnel deep underground. And I didn't know it, but in Turkey somewhere, there's cities that can hold 50,000 people plus their livestock underground. And there's all these theories about how ever so often the earth corrects itself, and the ancients knew that, and they would build these basically bunkers to put whole civilizations in to withstand the changing effects of the switching of the poles or whatever. Some people say that the pyramids are an ancient power source. Some of the hieroglyphics show them like getting energy out of it. It's known that the pyramidic shape has an effect on electromagnetic energy. Tesla seems to hint at that. It is funny. We've got a giant sun reacting out there that's just solid nuclear explosion, one after another, generating a lot of energy. And we're sitting on a massive magnet that's spinning in space. I mean, you'd think that somebody would have figured out a way to harness this.
Harness what, though?
All this energy that's naturally around us that's not going to go anywhere.
Nuclear,
Not
solar?
just nuclear, but okay, so there's solar,
Wind?
but there's also, we're sitting on a magnet that's spinning. It's got a north and a south pole. It's spinning. All you need is a conductor stationary to that, and you have all the electricity. We would basically be the equivalent of bacteria living on a motor. We could power everything.
yeah, a lot of people think the pyramids were power generators.
Yeah.
Oh, shoot. That's cool.
Yeah.
It's super cool.
Yeah, I
we
need
got
to
a big
watch
enough
that.
shop. We should build one out there and like get a meter out and test things.
Yeah, there's something to that magnet thing, actually, because, I mean, well, not to get off topic, but the key to human self-realization and where we come from and what we are is we're just like a magnetized energy body that doesn't understand our poles. So, yeah, understanding the largest pole that we have, north and south of the Earth, and how to utilize it, actually might be a better answer than nuclear energy, which is, in my opinion, the best option for us to have a green world. And it is safe, but that's what we've already discussed that. That's already like obvious. It's actually, nuclear energy is now becoming more popular and not so bad when you mention it and talk about it now. So word's getting out.
It's been a little while since Fukushima.
Hey, I asked a friend about that. Oh, actually,
Like
I'll say her name.
1980s technology.
I asked Ashley Ross your question about since Fukushima. Why don't you've always asked?
Like,
said
is
this.
the ocean toxic now or what?
Yeah,
What'd she say?
sounds like it kind of just dissipates or
Oh, the solution to pollution is dilution?
kind of. That's basically what she was saying.
It just went away like a fart in the wind?
But I said radiation never goes away for thousands of years.
It doesn't, but it gets spread out. So there's a difference between concentrated radiation. There's
Yeah.
radiation in this room right now.
Yeah.
But
Russell, what's on your mind?
Well, I was just thinking, like, if you eat the predator fish that are high on the food chain, maybe they're going to accumulate. If one of them ate one of them radiation particles and you eat like a tuna,
just like
I
mercury.
eat so much fish. Oh well.
Eat the smaller ones.
our sea is so polluted, it's actually bad to eat tuna. Because
What about salmon? That's what I eat.
Well, I don't know. You'd have to look that one up. But like, yeah, the larger the fish that eats more fish, the more likely are to have mercury for sure.
Yeah,
Oh,
that's
yeah,
why we
you're
were always
right.
told
Tuna,
never when I would spearfish, always shoot the fish that are pan size, and you'd see these big juicy suckers, and you'd really want that because it's a trophy. But if you're hunting for food, which is all we did, you actually want to take your smaller fish, and that was because of ciguatera, but which is neurotoxin. I think you really didn't want to get that, and I was always kind of nervous because I'd shoot some big suckers, but I'd cook them and eat them. Definitely didn't want to do it with barracuda, though.
Yeah, I've heard that as well. But I mean, like, I think you'd probably be okay as long as you're not eating barracuda every day. I think a lot of people overhype how bad barracuda are.
Well, I lived on a little bitty island, and everybody knew everybody, and you knew it. There would be cases of people going to the hospital
From mercury poisoning?
from ciguatera.
What is
Whatever the
that?
hell that is. It's a neurotoxin that builds up in these apex predator fish close to shore. And, well, I guess everywhere, but that's where we were taking them, close to shore. So I always shot, just little pan fish and kept it small. Ate good. Ate really good. Used to get a lot of snapper. Free diving. Highly recommend that. It's a wonderful, keeps your body in shape, works on your lungs. It's a great sport. You get to eat, see beautiful stuff. My God. Underwater world's amazing. I hope the ocean. Now the Bible says the ocean's going to get jacked up, but
95% of it is gone. I mean, it was 90% when I lived in San Diego in 2011, and now I've heard it's 95%. That's about on
what do you
track.
mean?
Has been fished out.
Oh,
We have technology has outgrown the ocean, and man's technology. We have simply just taken the fish out of the ocean. 90 to 95% is gone.
so sad.
And it is true. Like, if you think about it when you were younger compared to today, and this is documented all over the world. Like, here's 1990, here's 2015. It's like done, gone.
And see, that's the conundrum we get into with this whole population thing. It's like, okay, we need a bigger population because we're going to have more smart people, but then.
And I do want to make a difference. It's not like an individual guy going out and spearfishing or fishing. It's all commercial.
Oh,
fishing.
no, yeah, absolutely.
I want to make
didn't put
clear.
a
It's
dent on
commercial fishing that ruined our seas and
anything. Yeah, I
reefs.
ate like 2 fish a week.
So that's why there is a sustainable fishing council that, like, if you could look for the blue sticker on your fish to make sure it's sustainable. Like, actually, my favorite restaurant, I think they're only in California. It's called Rubio's Tacos. Everything there is sustainable, meaning the fish have the ability to reproduce and you're not overfishing the seas. I mean, so I used to live in San Diego, and I was doing the Talk of San Diego as a TV host, and I got to go to a bunch of like cool to the universities there and listen to some of the professors speak that were doing a lot of the marine biology stuff. And anyways, that's when I really found out just how bad it is, and I kind of became a fan of all the sustainable fish and stuff. I mean, I'm a big fish person, and I was a pescatarian for quite a while, actually.
It sounds like a religion.
Pescatarian.
It sure does. All it means, guys, is that I eat fish. I mean, like, I don't eat red meat or chicken. I eat fish.
The sound guy on our TV show was pescatarian. Remember, they had to fly
Yeah.
shit in just for
Well,
him.
they would look far and wide for a tuna sandwich for him, yeah.
Pescatarian.
What's the religion that's really close to sounding?
Presbyterian.
It's very close.
I'm a pescatarian.
Can you say those words one after the other?
You
Say
can. It's hard.
Years.
Pescatarian.
pescatarian,
Presbyterian.
Presbyterian. Yeah, no, that's hard.
I'm a Presbyterian and a pescatarian.
What are you, Jennifer? You a pescatarian? What are you?
Non-denominational.
Non-denominational? Okay.
I was raised Baptist, but non-denominational now.
I was raised Catholic, and now I'm original Christianity. What about you, Matt?
Just a Christian.
What about you, Russell?
Oh, we already did a podcast about all this.
I know we did.
Oh, you're like Jordan Peterson.
What?
Well,
You're a Peterson. I heard.
Yeah,
that's what
whatever
you said.
religion. I'm in the Jordan Peterson religion because
he's very
I'm a Peterson.
he's very chameleon about it, but it's he has Christian values, but he never really like came out and said he was.
Man, I don't want to be a part of that Christian cult that just scares everybody away from the Bible and
Amen.
Jesus. Like, these people are
Amen.
weird.
Right. I
well,
know.
because their logic doesn't make
And they
sense.
call it, yeah.
Have you seen that video of Kenneth Copeland defending buying his jet to that reporter? That guy, he cracks me up, man. Dude looks like a mannequin that came to life. Eyes get real big. And the woman says, I want to go to this statement you made where you can't fly commercial because you don't want to be in a tube full of demons. I did not say that, and don't you say I did. He's trying to explain why he bought this multi-million-dollar jet.
Yeah.
Well, why'd he buy it?
Well, there was some.
So it could fly around.
He said there was a
Spread Jesus.
He said there was a revival going on overseas, and I was going to make it to that. He said, and I bought it from Taylor Swift, and he sold that sold that plane so cheap, I had to buy it. I think it was like $5 million or something like that.
He's the guy that went viral during COVID because he said,
Blow the wind of God. Yeah.
Sounds like a Baptist preacher.
I don't
If
know
he talks
what
like
he
you're
was.
talking.
I don't know what he is, actually.
Southern Baptist.
You know,
Might be.
I have this limiting belief that, I wouldn't be able to start a cult, but if it weren't for that, I think maybe I'd like to kind of start a cult myself.
I've been accused of having a cult
all
already.
you have to do is believe it, Russell, and believe in
And
yourself.
I could be a cult leader.
I've really looked a lot into Waco and what's that dude's name?
Oh, there's tons
David
of
Koresh.
documentaries
Yeah,
about
I
these
mean, I
cults.
really-
It's like these people fall for anything.
Yeah, I mean, if David Koresh could get a guy to say, "Let me sleep with your wife," and then he's like, she's all yours, bro."
Oh my gosh!
Yeah.
Hey, I legally am ordained. I paid $40 to the state of Florida, and I can marry people. So we could actually turn this bill. Oh, we could get out of taxes. This building could be our church. You guys are the congregation. We just start wearing robes and sandals.
You'd
Like
have to
you're trying to be a
Russell,
cult leader.
You'd have to like people to do a cult.
You can sit in the back pew.
No, they just need to
They
listen.
just have to like him.
Exactly.
There you
yeah.
go.
And follow.
Well, I was gonna say that means you're like hanging out with people from day to day.
You don't want to actually like your followers.
Yeah, because you got to tell them what to do. Golly, that is some weird stuff, though. Drinking punch and thinking there's a mothership behind an asteroid and all killing themselves.
I think cults are really just indications of human behavior repeated in no matter what society.
Just microcosm of it.
You want to belong. You want a purpose, a common purpose for all, I guess is the best way to put it. Purpose. Yeah, so it's belonging, community, and purpose. Those are the three things your cult must have.
I have to do it in another country because I think the FBI would be way too good at infiltrating my cult.
Well, if you did your paperwork, unlike David Koresh, I love the point that Matt, like I was talking to Matt about it. He's like, yeah, it was only like a $200 thing he didn't fill out. I mean,
Yeah, I
just
know.
so
All
you
these
know,
people died
guys,
for nothing.
It was legal with what he was doing. He just didn't fill his paperwork out.
Yeah, he had a firearms license, and they claimed that he made some machine guns. Well, that's just another license. That's another $500 SOT tax. And just fill out the right paperwork. He could have done that shit legal. He was already halfway there.
I do want to point out David Koresh, I think both are on Netflix. Like 2 years ago during COVID, they released the scripted drama version that was like so pro David Koreshians. And then just 3 months ago, they released the nonfiction docuseries about it, and it was so pro FBI.
ATF.
I'd like to at least, I think it's important people should watch both of them, so then you and pick your side you want to lean towards, because there's like black and white different stories.
Well, I have a friend
Who
that
fired
comes
the
over
first
here.
shot? It's always what it boils down to.
He's an ex-military guy. Comes over and he looks at my tank and he looks at the explosives and the grenade launchers, and he goes, "I find it so odd that the stuff you legally have, other people are going to jail for 10 and 20 years for. And I'm like, it's literally paperwork. You fill out a form.
And Matt's awful at paperwork. I ain't going to lie.
Yeah, I suck at it, but at least I can do this. It's like you fill out a form, you do your homework, you pay the fee. It's nominal. It's not much, and you're legal.
I think people don't want to they think if they do the paperwork, they'll be put on a list and SWAT teamed or something.
No, it's when you don't that you get put on the list. You see, yeah, you get on a list, but it's like a list for a yearly inspection. You get to know the people. They know your business. You're not hiding anything anyway. And you just run it above board.
Yeah, I think sometimes it sounds scary to be on a list and the government show up. But at the same time, it's just another human being come and say hi. And it's just like going into anything in life, whether you're ordering a coffee or going to an interview, they're human. And like you said, you'll make friends with them. They're going to visit you every year. Russell, so to your point, what country would you start a cult in?
Now that's a question I have not been asked.
So
Mogadishu.
There's a couple in Thailand. I think probably a Thai island would probably be a good place.
it'd be like Lord of the Pigs all over.
Oh, my
or rings.
gosh.
Or wait, what was it?
You'd be the
Fine.
only man on the
Fine.
island, right? I'd show up and it'd be all these women and Russell.
Thailand. This is hilarious. And why Thailand? Yeah, explain to us. All three of us haven't been yet.
Well, they're pretty good about leaving the foreigners do their own thing, and there's already a couple, good cults over there. So
Is it they speak English because the expats from England or?
you're the locals. So what I'm telling you is that a couple of cults have been able to go do their thing, and the locals let the cults do their thing, and like, these foreigners are just they got this group, these cutesy. It's not that big of a deal. They're not being infiltrated by the equivalent of the FBI and shut down. So yeah, Thai Island I think would be a great place to start a cult.
You should just show up at the customs when they say, "What's your purpose of visit?" I'm starting a cult.
You know what?
They'd be like, oh yeah.
And you could say it's a CE5 event, Close Encounters of the Fifth Kind. Guys, that's when people get together in a circle and meditate to summon the aliens to come in and hang out and heal them.
We're supposed to do in West Texas.
The film's kind of old now, but if y'all want to peek into just some weird stuff going on Thai Island, you can watch now that they're bankrupt, you can watch a Vice documentary. It's still on YouTube. I think it's called Tantric Island, a Vice documentary on YouTube.
What's that about?
Well, it's an island, bunch of hippies out there teaching tantric love and massage and.
You said tantric. I was
sorry, but
That
let's
sounds
just
like
thinking
ORGY.
something else.
If
Yeah.
anybody uses the word massage,
Massage.
with it just
Well, it's
That's orgy.
different.
it's such a
Tantric
shitty
is-
word.
It's
just
different.
sex, guys. Come
Orgy.
on, don't waste it. There's a huge difference when I get a massage and then
As long as it ain't a sausage fest.
So, like, some of them will be with couples, and then some of them are only dudes, and they're teaching the dudes how to have some good tantric flow. Yeah.
Flow.
like with themselves. I mean, that's cool.
Yeah.
All right.
Well, maybe like a.
Guys do have it the best. I mean,
Poor
being
guy out
a
there
gay
just
guy
loping
is
it.
pretty simple.
Well, I
so
mean,
straightforward
I'm
what they
watching
want.
a Vice documentary, only catching clips.
Russell Vice was canceled.
No,
All right,
they-
but keep
No, they were bankrupt. There's a
Right.
difference.
But they were
They
kind of
couldn't make
canceled
money.
first, which made them bankrupt.
Well, look, 10 years ago, Vice was good. They
I know.
went woke, they went broke. But 10 years ago is when they made this documentary.
Well, Soros bought them out. I mean, from their bankruptcy, George Soros rescued them. Kind of. We'll
I
see.
mean,
what
they
happens.
like canceled the debt out they had against him, which was like $1 for the dollar. So they basically just paid $0 for the acquisition of Vice.
Okay, so back to you watched something on Vice.
Well, yeah, I said that like 10 minutes ago. That was the
that was
Tantric
the-
Island Vice documentary on YouTube.
That's where you
I'm
saw
gonna look
it.
this up.
I see.
Is it censored?
No, it's fine.
I mean, isn't tantric like it's based on your energy?
Oh, it's so
Starts
messed
with
up.
the
So
energy.
someone that follows a Hindu religion, it's so messed up how they've taken so many of their things and like made them
Just
sexual.
sexualized.
Yeah.
well, there's,
Dirty old men.
There's
I mean, a lot of it.
a
I mean,
spectrum of answers that to your question.
you're talking about like a workshop full of clothes people. They're not. I mean,
Oh, this isn't when you say tantric
No,
stuff, I mean I picture sexual healing,
you can
No,
do that.
rubbing
too.
on each other.
You
It's
can
like it's not gonna sound any better. But yes, people are usually clothed, correct? Like
Oh.
you
Yeah,
sit
all the-
on the other
yeah.
person's lap and you just
Hey,
like
hold on a
stay there and
second.
look at
Wait,
each
I
Jenny
other.
from the
this
block.
was
How you know
sex.
all this?
It's embarrassing why I know because I've seen it on like The Bachelor or something.
That is true. Or like too hot to handle.
It's not
ABC.
some dirty reason.
Yeah,
Oh,
if
so
you
that's
know what-
Okay.
No wonder you have
So
such
you
a
didn't go to
PG
Tibet?
idea of tantric.
She knows what the
It
word
just-
yoni
it starts
means.
with that.
My perverted
No, I don't know
landlord
what that
was
means.
way too much
Yoni?
into this
I don't
for
know what
me to
that
know
means.
it was way more than that.
Never heard that. But no, that's like the clean
They talk-
version
they
of it.
talk-
It starts
Everybody
with
thinks
that.
They talk about their yonis a lot in
Yeah, I
these
don't know that.
workshops.
What is yoni?
I don't know. I said I don't know what that is.
It's like a hippie word for your womb, a woman's womb.
Oh, yeah.
You know, one thing
Never heard of
about
that.
these tantric hippies though is they actually are doing traditional gender roles. You know, like this is a workshop for the masculine, and this is a workshop for the feminine.
We got to do away
Yeah,
with that.
I mean, the spiritual side, there's still a masculine and
They're-
feminine.
Yeah.
Thank you, Jesus. And Guru.
So I'll be plugging my workshop / cult on this podcast before.
Starting in Thailand in 2024.
Russell's Tantric Island.
Tantric Thailand,
Oh, man.
2024.
He's going to be extra tired because it's going to be just him and a bunch of women.
Actually, Russell leaves.
Got a
I
big
don't
old
want
smile
to
on
say
his
your
face.
public information out there, but you'll be leaving the country soon, and maybe I'll know where to look for you.
Damn, I didn't know that. Well, let me know where I'm going.
Well, okay, maybe you're not leaving.
That's
Yeah.
a lot of
I am.
assumption.
But that's no one cares.
Oh, I do.
Well, you're not an audience across the world.
Quantum bombs.
I like how we ended on us arguing.